Call to order the December 4th, 2019 Planning and Zoning Commission. Roll call, please.
Becker. Present. Buckley. Castro.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Maxwell.
Here.
Wright. Chair Doe.
Here.
Jeez.
We have a quorum.
Approval of the agenda. Any additions or deletions? And if none, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Klein, second.
Maxwell.
By Maxwell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We have the October 23rd meeting minutes. Any additions, corrections, or deletions?
I move to approve the minutes, October 23rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Castro, second by Maxwell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And you should have the November 6th, 2019 minutes as well. Any additions, deletions, or corrections?
No.
I move approval.
So moved by Klein,
Second.
second by Castro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. This is the public participation portion of the meeting where the public has an opportunity to speak or ask questions on anything not on the agenda. So I welcome anyone to the podium if they have anything they'd like to comment. There being none, we'll move to new business. We have a public hearing, a petition by Mobility, So a petition by Mobility represented by Mark O'Brien for a special use permit for a cellular antenna to be located on the building at 100 West Lincoln Highway, which is Walgreens in parenthesis. So I open the floor to the petitioner. If you go to the podium and state your name and address, we would appreciate it.
Thank you. My name is Mark O'Brien. Business address is 120 South Riverside Plaza, Suite 1800, Chicago, Illinois, 60606. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present today. Again, we're requesting the approval of our special use petition to place the cellular antenna on the Walgreens store at 100 West Lincoln Highway. I'd like to start by explaining a little bit how this site was selected. The carrier for the cellular antenna is Sprint. It would serve Sprint customers. And Sprint and Walgreens have entered into a commercial relationship where certain of the Walgreens retail locations now sell Sprint cell phones. There's a little kiosk generally near the photo booth where you can purchase a Sprint phone. It is staffed by a Sprint employee. You can activate your phone there. This particular store is one of the pilot program for pilot stores for that program. The reason that this store got selected for the antenna is because it's part of that pilot kiosk program. It's really the goal of Sprint to provide exceptional coverage there, both inside the store and in the immediate surrounding area external to the store, so that customers can buy and activate those phones, as well as for their point of sale service to work optimally and not to have delays in checking people out, things like that. So while these cellular antennas are frequently placed on utility poles or light poles, the reason this one was selected is because it actually has two components. There's the external antenna that's mounted to the outside of the building, and I think that's shown on the next slide. There we go. Yes, that's the external antenna, and I'll go into a little bit more detail about the location and size of that. But in addition to that, there is an in-building antenna that's placed in the ceiling of the Walgreens that provides interior coverage that we could not get from another location outside the building. So technically achieving both the interior and exterior coverage needed for this area is the reason that the location was chosen to go on top of the Walgreens building as opposed to another structure where you might be more familiar seeing these. Again, here on slide 2, you can see the proposed exterior antenna is mounted to the back of the building. We chose the back of the building to make it as unobtrusive as possible, to not interfere with the business operations during construction, so we're not putting a bucket truck in a street to do construction or in front of the entrance to not interfere with the Walgreens operations, either during construction, during any maintenance, and then really aesthetically for the people who live and work around here to make it as unobtrusive as possible, not having an antenna on the front or a face with signage on it. This is an elevation view from the drawing showing basically the same thing. The current rooftop of the building is 21 feet 4 inches. The highest part of the building, part of the parapet, is 24 3 inches, and the top of our antenna would be 34 3 inches. So 10 feet above the highest point of the building currently, which is, you can see that sort of triangular part that's through the drive-through for the pharmacy. And to get the coverage needed, sort of projecting across the building out into the parking lot area, and then further into the intersection of First Street and Lincoln Highway, we need about 10 feet above the highest point to get that propagation over the building and not to have interference from the structure itself. The interior antenna, as I mentioned, would provide great coverage inside. The exterior antenna provides coverage to any Sprint customer, not just the Sprint customers who are buying a phone at that moment, from about a couple hundred to maybe a quarter-mile tops radius from the antenna itself. So you'd be serving the parking lot, the intersection, parts of Lincoln Highway, First Avenue, basically serving traffic. If there's any other businesses or homes, they might get a little bit of coverage, but the main objectives are the parking lot and then traffic immediately in the area. And again, that's anyone with a Sprint phone, not just the customers buying one at the moment. This is, again, we have two more views, or one more view of the outside. This is just an overhead view showing the antenna about mid-building mounted to the back wall. And then the final view is sort of a ceiling view showing that the antenna is placed in basically in the middle of the building. And that's just to provide the optimal coverage. That's really an overview of what we're proposing, how we came up with the Walgreens location. And with that, I think I would turn it over to questions or comments. More than happy to address anything, but that's what I had prepared for the evening.
Okay, so we'll have the city give their report, then we'll open the public hearing and have you come up if we have any questions.
Perfect.
Thank you. So I open to the city.
Thank you, Chair. You have a staff report in your packet. As the applicant noted, they're proposing a special use permit as required for any cell antenna in a commercial building located on top of the building. So the total height of the antenna will be about 14 feet. As it noted, the good detail there showing it's on the side of the building at the back. So the total height will be about 10 feet above the canopy, which is the highest point, which is at on the drive-through point, and about 12 feet above the parapet. So as noted, they have a Sprint Express kiosk in the building, part of their relationship with Sprint to provide that service to customers. As noted, the antenna will, two antennas, one will serve the inside, one will serve the outside, pretty much just the parking lot and up to a couple hundred yards away, about a quarter mile at the most. So there was no, as I noted, there's no co-location protocol. We have provisions in our UDO regarding cell antennas, which several of you probably remember, a couple past ones. There was no co-location done on this. As noted, this is a small power antenna, this serving the inside, and this is a short area around the building. There was no, it's just not feasible for them to locate the facility, the antenna on some other tower or some other building in the city, so it would not be able to serve the purpose. So I did provide you a map. There's a request of this showing the cell locations around the city. As you can see in the downtown area, there's only one other at 3rd Street and Locust at the former bank building. There's a cell antenna on there. But as noted, this is a low power one, this covering the building itself, the store, and the parking lot and the immediate surrounding area. There's no residential areas within 250 feet of the site. There's findings of fact provided in the staff report noting it's not going to be detrimental to the surrounding area. It's in the back. It's, in terms of aesthetics, it will hardly be seen from Lincoln Highway, certainly, and just from First Street as you kind of come around the back of the building there. So it does meet the findings of fact for a special use permit. I did recommend approval. of that per the Exhibit A, which is the plans that we're showing you up on the screen that were in your packets too. So it's per that, those drawings that we're recommending approval.
Okay, thank you. I open the public hearing now. If there is anyone who would like to or has comments or questions regarding this item, we welcome you to the podium. And at this moment, there is no one. I'm getting some feedback on my microphone. If you can turn it down a little, thank you, that's better. So I open to the commissioners for questions and comments, and I'll start with Mr. Maxwell.
No, it seems clearly innocuous and to everyone that's in the area, so I have no issues. But thank you for your explanation.
Mr. Castro.
Mr. O'Brien, I have a quick question. It was not clear to me whether this is an idea that Sprint and Walgreens are implementing. Is this, who's driving this? Is it Sprint?
Sprint is driving it. Sprint is the operator of the network. It is, yes, Sprint is my client. Sprint and Walgreens have a relationship. So
Okay.
it's in both of their interests to have great coverage there. The relationship they entered is Sprint would like another avenue to sell phones, and Walgreens would like another avenue to drive people into their stores.
I
So
see. I just wanted to understand the business side of the story here. Is this a pilot program, or are we launched at this point?
It is a pilot program. So there are, I don't know how many Sprint kiosks there are, but as far as stores getting the antennas, I'm working on a pilot program of 50 stores throughout the country. The majority of those 39 are in the greater Chicago area.
Okay.
But it's a pilot program.
So the way I understand pilot is that there is a good chance, there's a chance, I'm sorry, that it doesn't go anywhere, I don't know, a year or 2 years from now, and you know, they may uninstall the antenna at some point in the future, which is fine. I think that wouldn't be a problem in the future. Is that a correct statement?
They uninstalled it? They took it down, you mean?
Take it down,
That'd be-
just because it didn't pay off for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
that'd be
That's
fine.
why I was asking. So, yeah, I thank you very much. I just want to understand that part of the story. So, I had, just before the meeting started, a brief conversation with Mr. Olson. I was the one who requested this map of the cell towers, and I was actually looking around this commission. Only two of us had the experience of the famous co-location protocol. You know, the spirit of that co-location protocol is really the idea that you don't have everybody putting antennas everywhere they want. And I think that is a very valid spirit. And I wanted to get a feeling for the map and understand the project. And as Mr. Olson was explaining, this is a project that is so unique. They basically want to enhance the signal in a very specific area. That's why the co-location protocol doesn't apply here. So I just wanted, for the record, to say the circumstances are so unique that the protocol doesn't apply here. It's not that we're ignoring the protocol or of co-location. Does that make sense, everybody here? I just want to make sure that we don't have, if we have to have a debate, we'll have the debate, but it doesn't seem to me that there is much debate on that part. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have no questions or issues.
None?
I don't either, but I want to commend Mr. Castro for bringing up the question about the co-location, because not everybody was involved in that, and so I really appreciate you bringing that up. I don't have anything either. It does seem to be pretty cut and dry. So I do need to offer one more opportunity for the public to make any comments or have any questions before I close the public hearing. There being none, I'll close the public hearing. Excuse me. And any further questions or comments from commissioners? If not, I'd be happy to take a motion.
I'll make the motion. Based
Second.
upon the submitted petition and testimony presented, I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission forward its findings of fact and recommend to the City Council approval of a special use permit for a cellular antenna on top of the Walgreens at 100 West Lincoln Highway per the plans dated 9/19/19 and attached as Exhibit A.
A motion has been made by Klein,
Second.
second by Castro. Any discussion? Roll call.
Becker,
Yes.
Buckley, Castro,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
Wright, Chair Doe.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you all, and thank you, Mr. Olson, for your summary. Have a great evening.
Thank you, you too.
You as well.
And a good holiday. So our next item of business is a final plat of re-subdivision. It's a petition by Charles McCormick for a re-subdivision of lots 72, 73, and 74 in the South Point Greens Unit 2 subdivision located along Pebble Beach Court. And open to the petitioners or the city first? I'm sorry.
Petitioner will speak.
Okay. So I open to the petitioners. Hi.
Good
If you can
evening.
give your name and address, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Charles McCormick, 430 Parkside Drive, Sycamore, Illinois, zip code 60178. What we're proposing is pretty simple and straightforward. There are 3 lots involved. One is owned by my son and his wife, and my son is here tonight. That would be lot 72. There are 2 lots south of that, contiguous, 73 and 74. And we are proposing the purchase of the 2 lots south of 72 and then subsequently appending the northern 35 feet of lot 73 to 72, retaining then what remains of 73, putting it together with 74 and giving us a bit larger building site. We have taken a look at the building pad that would result. The home plan we have would fit fine with the setbacks. And we'd appreciate your support for this.
Okay, thank you very much. And I open to Mr. Olson.
Yes, the applicant explained pretty clearly what's proposed. You can see on the screen there, which was providing your packet too. Pretty much they're splitting lot 73. This is a updated area from Google that shows the actual home in lot 72. This is a not updated area, but shows the current lots 72, 73, 74. So pretty much they're splitting lot 73 about in half, and half will go to lot 72, half to lot 74, creating pretty much re-subdividing from 3 lots to 2 lots. So that does require a plat to be submitted, which they did provide, showing the 2 new lots. The plat was reviewed by staff. There's a 10-foot wide easement on what's currently between lots 72 and 73 that will remain on there. And as explained to the applicant, that easement, there's restrictions on any structures across there. They're not proposing any expansion or any structures in the future, so just additional yard space. So they understand that. So that easement will stay in place, and there's a new lot created for the 2 lots there. Each lot will be obviously enough size to meet the minimum lot requirements, since they'll be larger, about 1/3 of an acre for both. And as the applicant noted, they're planning to construct a home on the new lot 2 then. So the staff's reviewed it. There's a recommendation is for approval. As shown on Exhibit A, which is a plat. There's a few comments on Exhibit B that have actually addressed a couple of those already, revised the plat, and that was submitted in terms of some of their certificates. So recommendation is for approval as noted in the staff report.
Okay. Commissioners, I will start with Mr. Maxwell. Any questions or comments?
No questions.
Okay. Mr. Castro?
Just make sure that I understood correctly. We're going from 3 plats to 2 plats, is that correct?
3 lots to 2 lots, yes.
3 to 2. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Klein?
No questions.
Mr. Becker?
Done. It's always nice when people have a little bit larger lot.
I don't have any questions either, and it's always nice when you see people wanting to build in our city, so appreciate that. So if we have no further questions or comments, I would be happy to take a motion.
I don't have it in front of me, otherwise I'd read it. So moved. Move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the approval of the final plat of the McCormick's re-subdivision dated 10/14/19, prepared by William Hanna Surveyors as shown on Exhibit A, and per the comments as noted on Exhibit B.
Second?
Motion's been made by Maxwell, second by Klein. Roll call.
Becker,
Yes.
Buckley, Castro,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
Wright, Chair Doe.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Reports.
Sir, next scheduled meeting, December 18th, will be canceled, so it's the last meeting of the year. I did provide a copy of the 2020 scheduled meetings. Chair Doe requested that. It's a draft, actually going to the council next Monday for approval. Just a note on these, this does include, if you recall, once we do move to the new city hall, our meetings will be changing to Monday nights, the first and third Mondays at 6 at the library. These meeting dates, we're not sure of the exact move date yet, so these dates are actually the current schedule, the Wednesdays preceding the council meeting. So this will be amended once I do have those, once we know we're moving out, communicate with the Planning and Zoning Commission of when that will start, the change in the date of the meeting,
So until we hear from you, we report here.
Yep, yep. So the next meeting would be, it looks like, it would be January 8th. That would be a Wednesday, so. Just a couple things. At the last council meeting, November 25th, there was 3 items that went through the commission. They were all approved. First and second reading, the medical cannabis dispensary at 700 Peace Road. The Clinton Rosette Middle School digital display sign was approved, and also the video gaming establishment at 1704 Sycamore Road. Those were all approved on first and second reading
Good stuff.
by the council. That's all I had. Happy holidays, everybody. I think most of you introduced a new recording secretary, Aaron Walker. Aaron's an employee with the city. He's administrative associate. He was in code enforcement before that, too. So Aaron will be at the all the meetings now and doing the minutes. So
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday as well. And I don't have anything further, so I'd be happy to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Becker,
Second?
second by Castro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you.
And I'll add my...